Recognizing the order of natural law demands resistance to economic slavery. This much is clear. Ignoring this system of exploitation is not passive, it is participation. We are not merely victims, but enablers. Each day we comply, each transaction we make, each time we look the other way, we strengthen the very chains that bind us. Resistance demands action, not violence. It demands vigilance. It demands that we stop feeding the system that enslaves us, insisting instead on justice. And then this was the list I really liked. You said, we must reject the comforting lies, which are, we must trust the system. Debt creates value. Fraud fuels prosperity. Inflation is necessary. Usury is just business. A dollar is a dollar. And the system is too complex to change. Those were the comforting lies we need to reject. And then you wrote, and we must embrace the uncomfortable truths. As moral agents, we always have a choice. Our choices determine whether civilization endures or collapses. Economic liberty is inseparable from political liberty. These issues will not resolve themselves. Rejecting evil carries a cost, but submission costs far more. So, I mean, just like very poignant. There is this whole moral imperative, and it's a call to action for every individual that exists, period. You can't opt out of this game, right? There's a lot of different ways to say this. There's whoever said it, Trotsky maybe. You may not be concerned about war, but war is concerned about you. There's no opting out of this game. You can't just be like, oh, I don't care about the fiat currency complex. I'm going to go over here and live on a deserted island. It's like, well, when this thing collapses and you're hungry or you want to build a shelter, or you want to engage in the economy or the social division of labor in any way, you're going to be affected. Or maybe the war that's funded by printed money, maybe that'll come to your little deserted island at some point. And so there's no opting out of the game. Like, you are a participant. You have to do something about it.
You're in reality.
You're in reality. And Ayn Rand, you're free to ignore reality, but you're not free to ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, like this book it's really I'm not talking down to anybody. I'm not on a soapbox. Like, this book is my experience. This is my journey. Like, in a sense, I'm taking them through my journey too, through, coming to grips with this economic reality. It's like, I swallowed every one of those lies. I was complicit. Like, it's easy to be like, oh, they do this. And like, oh, the politicians and the Fed, like, oh, they do. It's like, okay, well, I enable that in some way, shape or form. What is my part? What's my role? How are my actions enabling that? And it's coming to terms and asking this, like, yeah, it's a hard ask to say, hey, will you give up this comfortable lie, for this, uncomfortable truth? And I think what makes that a lot easier is when you just understand the stakes, when you understand the coefficients, when you have when you can accurately discern the coefficients in front of those variables, the calculus is like, it's like night and day. You're just like, yeah, I have to do so. I can't opt out. I have to do this. It's just like, it's just understanding that, because it's like a double-edged sword. Because you have a part to play in your enslavement, that's what enables you to have the part to play to get out.
Yes.
Like, by your choices, we built this system.
Yes.
And I love to, look at the past generations. It's like, okay, with the creation of the Fed, blah, blah, blah. Oh, 71, we split the gold. It's like, and you can say, okay, well, they did that to me. They did that. It's like, that's a really easy thing, because it's a high horse. It feels good to call out, you made a mistake. Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, the last two generations, they played the game. They went along with it and they benefited. And, you know, they're they benefited and they were made very comfortable house slaves. And it's like, well, I can't necessarily fault them because I don't know what I would have done in those shoes.
That's right.
You know, because I spent my whole life as a comfortable house slave. You know, being in the military is probably one of the most comfortable existences you can have. Everything's taken care of for you. I just show up to work and I work hard and and they feed me and they give me a place to stay and all the economic, you know, risks of, I got to start a business and I got to I'm just completely abdicated of all those responsibilities, you know? So it's just like, I just existed. And so in looking at my own, I was a house slave for almost the vast majority of my life. And it's only these last couple of years where I'm like, oh, what's going on? I need to get smart. Do I realize that I am the one that is playing a role in this part? So, you know, in some sense, and this is what one of the cool things that Frederick Douglass talks about, because you know, the slave that knows the lash knows the truth of his condition with a searing clarity. And it's like, you know, so yes, being abused by a system hurts, but you know the truth.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of coming to grips with like, hey, I'm starting to be abused. I'm starting to feel not good. There's something different that happened from my grandfather's experience to mine. What's going on? That's what gets you to the truth. So it's like, you know, the uncomfortable truth. I would rather be true in reality than living in some, you know, speculative fantasy land where then when reality crashes down, it just crushes all.
Amen to that. Amen to that. And this whole, where it is very easy to say, oh, they did it, not me. You're actually contributing to that false dichotomy, right? The us versus them. This is what I love, the definition of propaganda, that the point of propaganda is to make one group of people forget that another group of people are people, right? You need to label them to then justify atrocities towards them, right? This could be the anti-vaxxers, it could be the liberals, it could be the conservatives, whatever the thing is, right? You need to label them to dehumanize them. And so when you, in your own thinking and rationality, think, oh, all the bad guys, you know, all the liberals or all the conservatives or all whatever, they're all bad and I'm good, or my tribe is good. You're actually contributing to that rather than going with the hylomorphic perspective, which is like, wait, they're all humans. I'm also a human. Every atrocity that's ever been committed across all of human history was perpetrated by a human. You can't absolve yourself from that and say, no, I could never do that. I would never do that. If I conquered the world, around the world, I would do something different. It's like, that's all egotistical fantasy. And like, you need to come to that place of radical humility and understand that, like, here goes the political trope. Like, we are all in this together. We are actually in the process of civilization together. And if we don't act accordingly, then it's more likely to collapse than it is to succeed. And again, that would sound like a bumper sticker or a political trope if it weren't for Bitcoin.
Well, the thing that's so cool about Bitcoin is, like, you know, they say, oh, you get Bitcoin when you deserve to get it. You get it at the price you deserve. It's like, well, I don't really even just, like, when I was introduced to it, like, I don't even think of it as a deserving. I mean, like, it's just, that was an accident. Like, could I have learned about it a year ahead or a year prior? It's like, well, of course, you know, it's once you see it, what do you do with it?
Yes.
You know, like, that's where that, like,
what
deserving
do you do
comes
with the freedom?
from. What will you do with your freedom? And what's so cool is, like, with Bitcoin, it literally is for all people. Like, it doesn't take, like, anybody can participate. Yeah. Like, it universalized that tool. Yes. You know, so it's not just like, okay, we could say maybe in the 80s or not, like the gold bugs, right? They understood the problem. They were hedging and they're doing something about it. They were like, okay, I'm going to do this. It's like, well, that's just not a tool that anybody and everybody in the entire world could do, you know? But it's like, that's what makes Bitcoin so powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's well said. And it's the realization of so many things we've been pursuing for so long, right? Life, liberty, property, equality in the eyes of the law, power to the people, decentralization, checks and balances, like all these things are somehow like maybe not fully manifested in Bitcoin, but Bitcoin has a lot of aspects of a lot of these ideals we've been pursuing for a long time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, click here to find more just like it, and here to find our most recent episode. Also, make sure to like this video to help shine light on the corruption of money, and be sure to subscribe to this channel to stay connected.